Welcome back to the Gav Goes In podcast. So it's looking likely that United are in for another striker, you know. And you know what? United are signing a lot of these African players, they've been heavily linked to a striker that again many people probably won't have heard of. Even myself, I never really heard of him. I've watched a couple of clips of him to see what he's all about. Big up to Reluctant Killer. And that is 18-year-old striker Christian Kofane. And as I said, guys, I think he's been chased by the likes of Real Madrid. I think there's Bayer Leverkusen, Monaco as well that are also interested. And Man United look like they're firming up their interest in Christian Kofane. Now, as I said, I haven't seen too much of him, but from some of the clips that I've been watching. What I would say, first of all, is that, for me, he's very raw at the moment, but he does have the potential to grow into, a very good striker, I would say. I think he's got the physical attributes, he's got the pace. In actual fact, he's very, very, very strong for an 18-year-old, And I know, obviously, he's playing for Albacete in Spain, in the Segunda division. And to be honest with you, from what I've seen of him, he looks like he could be, a striker in the future that, could be one of the best strikers in the future from what I'm seeing. I think he's got a very good touch as well. And although he's playing in the Segunda division, I think it's going to be a case where if the likes of Real Madrid are looking at him, then Real Madrid are obviously seeing something that I've probably seen as well, because as I said, I think he's got a very good touch. I think he's strong, he's quick. I think in terms of how he can hold the ball up, albeit obviously in the Spanish division as well, in the second division, but he does look like he's got something to his game, and as I said, I think he's someone to watch for in the future. He's got I think he's got a 4.2 million release clause as well. Which again will be cheap business for any club, and I do think that United could get him in, loan him out. Big up to Daniela, big up to player 22. So yeah, the thing is, I do think that this player can be someone to look out for in the future. As I said, I think only 18 years of age. Big up to Sham. Only 18 years of age, and the fact that he's been linked to the likes of United, Real Madrid, Monaco, Bayer Leverkusen, is showing that this guy could be a player for the future. And as I said, I haven't seen too much of him, but he does look like he's got something. I say it looks very raw to me at the moment, but maybe if he goes to a club, where they can obviously nurture him, give him opportunities to play at a higher level, then I think, you're looking at a player, as I said, that's gonna be quite, I wouldn't say special, but he's definitely got something. I would need to see more of him to see what he's all about. Guys, if for some of you just coming in just now, United have been linked to a striker playing for Albacete in Spain, in the Segunda division, Christian Kofane. And as I said, if you can, try and give him a watch, guys, because he does look like he's got something, definitely. And for 4.2 million, I think that's going to be an absolute steal for any club. Big up to Barbara Joseph. Yeah, big up, Shad, man. Yeah, guys, listen, if you're just coming through just now, okay, there's 13 of you in there. Smash that like button, subscribe to my channel. Let's at least hit 10 likes. And if for those of you that haven't seen the links to Christian Kofane, Man United are reportedly interested in the 18-year-old striker, along with Monaco, Bayer Leverkusen. The front runners at the moment, I believe, could be Real Madrid. So this is going to be a player that, as I said, will be highly sought after for me. And again, because of the striker window as well, you would think that This will be a player, as I said, 18 years of age, already showing, that he's definitely got some potential. This could be, a good bit of business, man, for 4.2 million as well. Yeah, it could be some crucial business. So yeah, Christian Kofane, his name is, Cameroonian international. I mean, if he's anything like his compatriot Samuel Eto'o, then Man United will have one hell of a player on their hands if they try and get him. And again, the fact that Real Madrid are looking at him, it's not a coincidence, because if anyone remembers, Real Madrid actually had Samuel Eto'o before, so they could be looking at Christian Kofane as as like another Samuel Eto'o in a sense, obviously both being Cameroonian. So yeah, but I think it'll be interesting to see if United do actually make a bid. At the moment, it's pretty quiet, but I think you would assume that United will obviously try and get this business done. It's 4.2 million, but the problem is, I think because they've got because they've got Chido Obi. In a sense, I'm thinking to myself, what will be the point of getting this player if you've got a 17-year-old in Chido Obi, because how you gonna fit them both in for the future, or maybe it might be a case that United might want to try and get these players in and then try and flip them for some money. Who knows, but for sure United need to overhaul that strikers department. Get rid of Rasmus Højlund, and then you've got the likes of Xerxes. If they bring in a Osimhen or a Gyökeres or a Mateta, whoever. And then you've got Chido there as third choice at the moment. If you can bring in this Christian Kofane, then obviously it'd be good to have a look at him, see what he does. Obviously get him a loan, probably in the league or elsewhere, and then see what he's all about. Daniela says, let's hope Man United will get the right manager next season. Well, as I said, Ruben Amorim's looking like obviously he is gonna start the season off. There's obviously been reports that if Bruno Fernandes does move on, Amorim might resign. I think it's unlikely, but I think it is definitely a question that does need to be asked, really. But as I said, this manager's got until he's got the start of the season, because the season's the season literally is around the corner. So, if United don't get off to a good start, you can definitely see this manager being under pressure, so it's gonna be on him, really, so Sham says, sounds like Man United bought a relatively unknown 20-year-old from the Portuguese club Vitória Guimarães, yep, for 7.4 million, named Bebe. Yeah, listen, when Bebe was signed, yeah, as I said, man, that was something to do with Carlos Queiroz, that one there, because yeah, man, Bebe was poor, man, let's be honest. But this, as I said, if you haven't seen this player, Christian Kofane, give him a watch, because there's some clips of him on YouTube, and as I said, I'm very good at judging if I think a player's got something for me. And from the little clips that I've seen, he is very raw, as I said, but he has definitely got something to work with, and as I said, I do think, if any team does get him from the ones that I mentioned, it could be smart business, to be honest with you, because as I said, he's got some raw attributes there. He's looks very, very strong as well, very good in the air as well. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens there. He's got 20. So he's got 20 appearances for Albacete, with a return of 8 goals. Which is decent. I think 8 goals and 1 assist. But again, in the Segunda division, yeah, as I said, he's going to be someone that he's going to be someone that a lot of clubs will be thinking can make the step up. You know, as I said, from what I've seen, I shouldn't think there's no reason why he can't, because he does look promising, to be fair. You know, guys, anyone seen the team of the season for the Champions League? You know, has anyone seen the team of the season for the Champions League? If anyone's got the team of the season for the Champions League, if you can put that in the chat and we'll run through that. There was one surprise absentee for me in there. Someone for me that's underrated, and that's someone that definitely should have been in there. Yes, Sham, I agree, man. He's definitely a prospect for the future, you know. But I think if we have to look at it right now, United have got Cheeto, who's 17, and Kofane is 18. So, you know, it's a bit of a weird one as to see why they would want him, you know, when they've got Cheeto there already. But who knows? Maybe there's something they're working with, you know. But yeah, as I said, he does look like he's got something about him, you know. Guys, anyone got the Champions League team of the season? To put that in the chat. If you haven't, we'll just run through it anyway. So in goal, no surprises, Gianluigi Donnarumma. To be honest with you, Donnarumma was the outstanding keeper in this competition. Big up, Sham. Donnarumma was the outstanding goalkeeper in this competition. You know, made some crucial saves. And I think if you look at the semi-final and the quarter-final, you know, Donnarumma was a massive part of why PSG advanced through to both rounds. You know, making some crucial saves. And I think it's safe to say that he cemented his status. You know, I think if you're looking at the best keepers in the world, I think you're looking at Alisson, you're looking at Donnarumma. Who else are we looking at? Alisson, Donnarumma. I'd put Mike Maignan in there as well. You know, Ter Stegen's been out injured. Thibaut Courtois. If you're looking at them, I think they're the leading keepers in the world right now. And Donnarumma definitely deserves to be in there. The two centre-backs, you know, Alessandro Bastoni and Marquinhos, the captain. I think Marquinhos, obviously being the winning captain, was a no-brainer for me. I think if I'm looking at other defenders that could have rivaled him in that sense as a right-sided centre-back, you know, you obviously got likes of Virgil van Dijk, but Van Dijk obviously went out early. You got the likes of... trying to think what else there is. I think Rudiger, I don't know. Rudiger could be in the shout. But I think Marquinhos was definitely, you know, the obvious pick because, again, he's the captain and they won the Champions League. So, yeah, I think that was an obvious one. The left-sided centre-back, you know, Bastoni's got in there. And to be fair, I like Bastoni. Bastoni is, you know, I think he's only young. I think Bastoni might only be like 23, I believe, you know. And in terms of his quality and his composure on the ball and his defending, you know, he is definitely one of the best up-and-coming young centre-backs in the game. But I think Pacho should have got it. You know, I think it should have been PSG's whole defence and goalkeeper. Because I think William Pacho has been underrated, you know. And I think the only reason Bastoni's got in there ahead of Pacho is because I think not too many people know about Pacho. But having watched him throughout the entirety of the competition, he was as good, as influential as Marquinhos. And if anyone remembers, Marquinhos actually missed the first leg against Arsenal. And Pacho was arguably the leader at the back there. And it made it seem as if they didn't really miss him, you know. So I was surprised he didn't get in there. But again, I think Bastoni's got in there purely because Bastoni's probably a bit more of a household name than what Pacho is. But Pacho's a very good defender, guys, you know. And I was surprised that he didn't get there. The two fullbacks. And again, there's no surprise with these two. These two as a combination, and right now they're the best fullback pair in the world, in their positions. For me, Nuno Mendes is the best left back in the game right now. And Hakimi definitely has the tag, probably along with a couple of others, as their best right back in the game right now as well. So there's no surprise with them two, instrumental in getting PSG all the go in letting PSG go all the way, And I think what's crucial about the likes of Hakimi and Nuno Mendes is that they both offer an attacking dimension to a team that has so much quality in there, because when you've got those two, on the overlap, with their pace and their physicality, it allows the number 10s or the wide players that want to play inverted, to play their game and just create absolute havoc because you've got those two on the overlap, So for me, Hakimi and Mendes was a no-brainer. And yeah, those two, as I said, they're the two best fullbacks in the game right now. Moving on to midfield. Now, for me, Vitinha, I think a lot of you that's been watching the channel will know that I rate Vitinha very highly. And for me, Vitinha is, along with, as Reluctant Killers mentioned, with Pedri, the two best midfielders in the world right now, or two of the best midfielders in the world. And the fact that Pedri's not in there, I don't really get. But for me, Vitinha, was arguably man of the match in that final as well. And yeah, he's in there by default for me because he's been that good. Declan Rice. Now, guys, Declan Rice for me, as I said, he got in there, as Shams mentioned, because of the 2 free kicks, because this is what I'm trying to say about how this voting works, because how Declan Rice can be in there ahead of Fabian Ruiz, again, doesn't make any sense to me. And Fabian Ruiz has fallen victim to the same way that Pacho has, because Fabian Ruiz, let's not forget, won the Euros last summer with Spain. He's won a Champions League with PSG and was instrumental as well in PSG going all the way. And the fact that he's been overlooked for Declan Rice, again, is nothing short of, of recency bias, or even in a sense of just favoritism, because Vitinha definitely needs to be there. Pedri for me should have been in there. If you're going for a 2-man midfield, it should have been Vitinha, Pedri. But I would understand if it's a case where if you want to put Fabian Ruiz in there, but Declan Rice should not have been there. I think they just put Declan Rice in there because they needed to include someone that was playing in England. And as I said, Rice should not have been in there ahead of Pedri, and he should not have been in there ahead of Fabian Ruiz, And then we're moving on. You got the young player of the tournament, Desiree Doué. Desiree Doué, to be fair, had a very good last couple of games in the competition for PSG. Obviously, the final, we got 2 goals and an assist, and obviously him winning young player of the tournament. Again, I was quite surprised, but the way that I look at that is the reason they've given, I think they've given Doué young player of the tournament because PSG won it, and it's a case where they wanna pit Yamal versus Doué in the future. I think that's what they want to do, because if you look at both players, they're both, well, I know Yamal's 2 years younger, but one plays on the right, left-footed, one plays on the left, right-footed. So I think the fact that they gave it to Doué, and Yamal obviously was still in the team of the season, I think it's because they want to, as I say, they want to create that rivalry between Yamal and Doué as the next Messi and Ronaldo. I think that's what they're trying to do. Because if I'm honest with you, Doué's had a good final, a good semi-finals as well. But should he have really got young player of the tournament? I don't think he should have. I think Yamal, maybe there might have been 1 or 2 others. But as I said, I think they're doing that because they want to create that rivalry of Yamal and Desiree Doué. And then you've got Rafinha and Ousmane Dembele as the false 9. Now, again, Dembele for me is probably along with Yamal the favourite for the Ballon d'Or. And again, Dembele was I mean, who would have saw Dembele playing as a false 9 for PSG in that fluid front three. I never see that. But to be honest with you, Dembele's had a great tournament and a great 2025, and definitely deserves his place in there. And Rafinha, I mean, for Rafinha as a whole, on a whole, his season, it was definitely he was definitely worthy of a position in this team. And what's weird, guys, as well, actually, what I would tell you is that this lineup, it's weird how PSG won the competition without no recognized number 9, and this team of the season has got the same thing. So maybe we might see going forwards, a lot of teams not playing with a striker. And if I'm honest with you, are we really surprised? Because the striker market in this era now is not really there. You're getting a lot of players that play out from wide positions, and it's where that you've got Dembele that's occupying that central striking position in this team of the season, and he's not even a striker. So the fact that that's happened, I think it's good. It's good, actually, to be fair. But as I said, that team there, Donnarumma in goal, Marquinhos, Bastoni, Hakimi, Mendes, Rice, Vitinha, Rafinha, Yamal, Doué, and Dembele. I think if we're being serious, I think it's probably only, one or two players that we would disagree on, or say that they shouldn't be there. And for me, that's Declan Rice and possibly Bastoni. I think you could replace, as I say, Bastoni and Rice with either Pacho, Fabian Ruiz, if you want to make it an all PSG majority team, or you can just replace Rice with Pedri, and then. But I definitely don't think Declan Rice should have been in there, not one bit. Guys, come on, there's 8 of you watching, only 5 likes. Let's kind of hit the like button, guys. Just one press of the button, and as I said, give me your questions. So Sham says, Hakimi is a big game player, scored in the quarters, semis, and the final, also in the French Cup final. See, I never knew that. I never knew Hakimi got all them goals. But, and the funny thing with Hakimi is that this is a player that used to be at Real Madrid. He come through Real Madrid system and played a few first-team games for them, but then I think he went on loan to Borussia Dortmund. He's at Inter Milan as well. And now he's at PSG, man, and definitely one of the best fullbacks in the game. And as I said, I didn't even know he scored in all those rounds. But yeah, he's a very, very good right back, man. Very good right back. Modern day right back, with the physicality and the pace. Killer says Barca's not in the FIFA World Cup. Yeah, they're not, because again, it's over the last 4 years on how far the teams have got in that competition. If you've won it, or how far you've got in that competition. So yeah, I was surprised to see Barca not in there. But I think if you look over at Barca's record over the last 4 seasons, I don't think they've got to the latter stages that much. I don't think so. Yeah. Sham says they didn't want to pack it out with PSG and Barca players, so put Rice in there. Yeah, I mean, what they did, because I can tell you this for free, if Declan Rice never scored those 3 kicks, he's not in there. And I think the fact they've put Rice in there is because Rice is playing in England, and I think they needed to justify a player playing in England as in that team. Because why was Thomas Partey not in there? Because Thomas Partey was arguably better than Declan Rice. But Declan Rice obviously is in there, English, so that's probably why he's been in there. But yeah, as Killer said, Pedri over Rice all day. Yeah, listen, Pedri, again, with Vitinha, and probably with a few others, Fabian Ruiz is worthy of a shout as well. They're the best midfielders in world football, in my opinion. So, yeah, he should have definitely been in there. Sham says, Club World Cup, they picked the 2 best teams per league. Other than this season, they have been poor past few seasons, hence why Athletic Madrid have spot with Real Madrid. Yep, I agree. Yeah, Real's in there. Chelsea, City. I'm not no, PSG won't be in there. I think for the European teams, Chelsea, City, Real Madrid, Inter Milan, I think. I think Inter Milan might be in there. I think I can't remember. If anyone knows the definite teams that are in that Club World Championships, then let me know, guys. Let me know. But yeah, Barca's not in there. Oh, Atletico Madrid are in there as well. Okay, cool. Liverpool got in 3 finals in 4 years, but unfortunately, 2 of them was out the 4 years. Yep. Yeah, yeah. As I said, yeah, Liverpool. I think over the last 4 years, I don't think Liverpool won the Champions League anyway. Did they win the Champions League over the last 4 years? I don't think they have. No, I think Real Madrid definitely will be in there because they've dominated that Champions League. Big up to Sneak FR. Big up to Sham. Sham says, shows a shortage of proper number 9s when you got 2 wingers up front for team of the season. But yeah, I mean, I've been saying this, Sham. You know, I think if you look at football as a whole, there is a shortage of top strikers in general. You know, because if you look at the Premier League, if we're gonna say who are the 2 best strikers in the world, you know, in the Premier League, you're looking at Isak and Erling Haaland. Then if we go to Germany, you're looking at Harry Kane. Serhu Guirassy might have a shout because of his numbers as well. Then you've got the likes of Boniface, Schick, but I wouldn't say these guys are elite. I think the elite one obviously is Harry Kane, and then you've got the likes of Isak and Haaland. Then if you say Spain, Lewandowski's still there. You know, Mbappe's playing as a striker, but he's not a striker. Julian Alvarez, you know, again, he's not a typical number 9, but he deserves a mention. If you go to Italy, Lukaku, Lautaro Martinez, you know, these guys are all obviously forwards or strikers. And then you've got the likes of Osimhen, you got Gyökeres, John Duran's out in Saudi. But again, you can see how much we're struggling to think of the top quality strikers. Before, you know, it used to just reel off easy. But now we're having to think what strikers are out there. And this is why strikers now are like gold dust. And this is why when I mentioned about Christian Kofane earlier today, he's 18, you know, and as I said, he looks like he's got some attributes that could be useful. And in a world of number 9s where, you know, they seem to be few and far between. This is why a striker now, if you get yourself one, is like gold dust. This is why I'm saying Isak's not going to go for anything less than 150 because Newcastle can't really replace him, you know. And if they was to replace him, whoever it might be, Ekatike, another one as well, then they're gonna have to spend a lot of money to replace him. So it's ideal for them to just keep him. The same with this is why Erling Haaland's got a 10-year contract because, you know, it's now there ain't too many strikers about, man. That's the problem, you know. Hakimi is amazing. Yep, he is. PSG teamwork is amazing. Sort of reminds me of Spain in Euro final. Hard to stop with their precision passing. But again, there's no surprising why PSG are dominating and playing the way they are. It's Luis Enrique. You know, Luis Enrique was ex-manager at Barca, you know, ex-Spain coach as well. And he has his teams playing a certain way. So there's no surprise why PSG playing the way they are. And again, no striker as well, which is again, I think many people wouldn't have seen that coming, you know, but this is why Luis Enrique is a top manager because, you know, he has his philosophy of playing and look how he's got that Spain team playing football, you know, so it's mad. Also from the Premier League, it's only Chelsea and City in the Club World Championships. Yeah. But again, if you look at Chelsea and City, they're the 2 teams that have won it the most, I think the most recent times, I would say. You know. Okay, so you guys won it into Liverpool won it 2019. Okay, so when did Chelsea win it then? When they had Havertz and Mount. Was that 2020 they won that? Or was that 2021? Mr. Samir says Hakimi's the best right back in the world. Yeah, I agree. I think if we're looking at the best right backs, I mean, Danny Carvajal's been out injured, so we can't really include him. Obviously, you've got the likes of Trent. I do think Hakimi's better than Trent, though. For me, Reece James is the best right back when he's fit in the game. When he's fit, I think Reece James can rival Hakimi for being the best right back, but Reece James obviously isn't fit enough. So Jules Koundé for me is more of a centre back, but has adapted to being a right back. Who else they got there? Who else is out there? Right backs. I like Mazraoui, but obviously United playing a three at the back with wing backs. Yeah, I mean, well, João Cancelo was a top player, but he's in Saudi. So yeah, I think Hakimi is the best right back in the world. There's no argument there. I think the only player that can rival him, I would say, is a Reece James if he stays fit. You know, but who knows? There might be someone else coming up. You know, there's still some unproven players on the world stage. You would say like the likes of Livramento, who I think is good, but obviously he has to prove it in Champions League, and there might be a few others that I've probably missed out as well. But yeah, Hakimi for me is the best right back in the world. I agree. Killer says Madrid, Milan, Liverpool won most Champions Leagues in history. Madrid, Milan is Liverpool. Yeah, I think. Yeah. Madrid dominated it, man. To be fair, but this season they were a joke this season. So, yeah. Listen, Hakimi is better than Alexander-Arnold. Yeah, he is. He is, man. I think in terms of technique, in terms of quality, you'd say Alexander-Arnold, but as an overall attacker and a defender, Hakimi's better. He's better. You know. So yeah. Big up to D12 Detroit. Yeah, big up for coming on, bro. So okay, guys. So the pot for the big up Sham. The pot for the World Club Cup teams are Chelsea, Real Madrid, Man City, Bayern Munich, PSG, Inter, Porto, Benfica, Borussia Dortmund, Juventus, Atletico Madrid, Red Bull Salzburg. They're all the European teams in there. If I'm honest with you, so PSG are in it. You know, guys, I wouldn't put it past PSG winning this again. I think it might be a bit of a tough ask, but I think from what I've seen of PSG, the way they destroyed Inter Milan, again, Inter Milan, I ain't going to want to be facing them again. You know, but I think the favourites. You know, you're looking at PSG. If City get their business done, and guys, City looking like they're getting Ait Nouri, Cherky and Reinders. And I'm telling you this now, if they get all three of them players, they're the favourites, guys. They're the favourites if they get all three of them players, because I said if Liverpool got Florian Wirtz, Kerkez and Frimpong, it would take a lot for any team to top that. And I think if City get Reinders, Ait Nouri and Cherky to go with the likes of Rodri coming back as well, I think you'd have to say City might be the slight favourites, I would say. So yeah, again, it's going to be interesting to see what transfer business is going to be done. But I would have to say if City get those over the line, and again, they want to get them before the Club World Cup starts. So I think over the next couple of days, you're going to see some movement happening. Who else is in there? Dortmund, Juventus. Juventus are in there. Guys, how comes Juventus are in there? I mean, Juventus ain't done nothing over the last few seasons in Europe. I'm surprised Juventus are in there. You know, if anyone knows how Juventus got in there, let me know, because you know they've been struggling big time. So I'm not quite sure how they're in there. Guys, come on, only 5 likes. Smash the like button, guys. Smash the like button. Big up yourselves. So Chelsea won it 2020 against City. Yeah, they did. Oh, yeah. Big up to Marco. Oh yeah, Denzel Dumfries, another one. Um, Again, Denzel Dumfries had a case to be in the team of the season, but for me, Hakimi was the best right back. I know Dumfries had a very good semi final against Barcelona, um, but Hakimi was a standout for me and definitely deserved his place in there. Um, Big up to Kaya. Yeah, big up for coming on. That's my cat's name, Kaya. Great name. Big up. Um, Killer says, what date is FIFA World Club Cup and you looking forward to it? I'm not sure what day it's on. I'll have to give it a check. But I'll try and catch some games, if I'm honest. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna have a look to see when that starts. But if anyone didn't know, just for entering that tournament, you get 50 mil. The winners get 100 mil. So whoever wins that, if it's one of the big size, the likes of, PSG, Chelsea, Real Madrid, Man City, whoever, if any of them win it, that's gonna go a long way to getting some transfer business done, because 150 million they're getting if they win it and participate. So it's mad. Sham says Real Madrid could be cooking differently with Alonso there now. Do you know what? I think Alonso's a very good manager, but it's gonna be interesting to see what team he plays or what formation he plays. Because as I mentioned when we was doing the stream with Flawless, I want to see if he plays a three at the back. I know Real Madrid have never played three at the back, but I wonder if he goes with his philosophy to Real Madrid, because I think if he plays a three at the back, there's going to be a few players that might be sweating over their position. I think Bellingham will be sweating over his position in that team, because people might think Bellingham could play as one of the three. I don't think he can, because if I'm looking at how Alonso played with Bayer Leverkusen, he had Florian Wirtz left of a free, but had a free role. He had Patrick Schick or Victor Boniface as the striker. Sometimes he would play Nathan Teller through the middle, ex-Southampton player. And then he had Adley as a left-footed player as part of the three as well. But there was different combinations there. But I think because Bellingham's an actual midfielder, can I see and they've already got Vinicius Junior and Mbappe there as well. I can't see Bellingham playing on a right of a three. I think someone who's suited to that position, and I think if it's a case where Rodrigo does move on, Arda Güler will be suited to that perfectly, because for me, Arda Güler is a 10, but the fact that he's left-footed and can play, as part of a front three on the right-hand side, like what Adley was doing for Leverkusen, I think he's tailor-made for that. And if you had a front three of Güler from the right, Vinny on the left, and Mbappe, even though I don't think Mbappe's a striker, I think the balance of that would work well. But again, for me, that will depend on what happens with Rodrigo. As I said, I think Rodrigo, for his career, needs to move on. But whether he does or not, I'm not too sure. And then the midfield, because obviously it's got to be a midfield two if they're playing three at the back. The midfield two, you're picking between Camavinga, Valverde, Tchouaméni, and Bellingham. And let's be honest, if you're looking for a bit of defensive stability, you want to go with the likes of Valverde and Camavinga as a balance, or even a Tchouaméni, because Bellingham's not going to offer you that. Bellingham will offer you the legs, and the box crashing, but he won't offer you the defensive stability that they would need. Because if you've got a three like Güler, Mbappe, and Vinny, three players that are, you would say would want to be the superstars, you're going to need some defensive responsibility in there. And I think the fact that Bellingham is more attacking, how's he going to fit in his team? For me, if I'm picking a team based on three at the back, Bellingham doesn't play. If I'm picking a team based on four at the back, again, he doesn't play. For me, Bellingham doesn't start in their best team. I think Bellingham's just there because of his name, but I definitely think that's something for Alonso to think about next season, because I don't think we can see Arda Güler on the bench again regularly. next season. And as I said, if he does play the three at the back, it's going to be interesting to see how the balance of that team is going to go, you know. Okay, so Club World Championships kicks off on the 15th of June. Fair enough. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be on BBC or ITV. I don't think. Yeah, big up, Kai. I've already shouted you out. Big up yourself. Yeah, that's my cat's name. Yeah, yeah. Big up, man. Cool name. So Kian55 says 35 mil participating. Nice. It's 50 mil for taking part. So all the clubs that are in the Club World Championships, they get 50 mil, and if you win it, you get 100 mil. So that's mad money there to add on top of the spending that these guys are probably gonna do anyway. Big up to Xedra. Yeah, big up, bro, for coming on. Yeah, my day's been good, man. Hope yours is good as well. Big up yourself. Xedra reckons Alonso gets sacked within 2 years. I mean, to be honest with you, because of how the standards are at Real Madrid, I think that's quite normal, you know, because they're not going to come into this season, Real Madrid, knowing that Barca won the league last season, the Copa del Rey, and they've got a new manager. You know, they're going to want to hit the ground running. So if it's looking like that Barca are going to win another league title, I'll go as far as saying, you know, they could pull the plug on him early than that. Because as we know with Real Madrid, they don't mess around. You know, it's either win titles or not. And this is the standard of the club. So I think 2 years, I think you're being generous. And I do think Alonso's a very good manager. But for me, if he's not hitting the ground running, it could be sooner than that. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see, man. So Killer says, who will win FIFA Club World Cup? Imagine a Europe team doesn't win, that would look bad. Yeah, I think that's not. I think the European team's definitely going to win it. I'd go as far as saying that. I think Palmeiras are in it. William Esteval, obviously get to see a lot more of him as well. But yeah, I think a European team will definitely win it because again, as a collective, they've just got a lot more quality in their squad. Who do I see winning it? I think, as I said, I think if Man City get Ait Nouri, Cherky, and Reinders in their squad, I'd make them as one of the favourites. And you know what's actually mad, actually, that they're getting Cherky and Ait Nouri. Like, that's actually mad because two players there, I believe, is it Algerian or Tunisian descent or something like that? You know, again, Ait Nouri was playing in France for, I think it might be Angers he used to play for, you know, and these two were talked about early in their career and they might both end up at the same club at City. So yeah, if City get them three over the line, I think I might make them slight favourites. But I think after what PSG have just done, yeah, I think it's safe to say, man, that yeah, they'll be one of the teams to beat. Real Madrid, obviously, you can't count them out. Same with Bayern Munich. But I'd have to say PSG or Man City for me would be the favourites, you know. Killer says, I see Bellingham starting, especially with Arnold coming in. I think he will play Cam behind Mbappe. Yeah, I mean, I hear that. I think, as I said, I think if he doesn't change the formation, then Bellingham probably will play. And not because Bellingham deserves to play, it's because of his status in the game. You know, because, as I said, I don't think Bellingham figures in Real Madrid's strongest lineup, you know. Especially with him playing as a 10, because he's not a 10. But if Alonso does go over three at the back, that's going to give, you know, problems to where he figures in the team, in my opinion, because I don't see him playing as part of the front three. And again, if he does play as part of the front three, you're going to have to play him on the right-hand side, which I don't think will work well. And if you play him in the midfield too, they could be vulnerable because, as I said, I think you need a bit more stability from the midfielders in that position. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what Alonso does. Obviously, he's going to have his preference, but we'll see. So Kian says, easily European, PSG, Real Madrid, outside chance, Chelsea, Bayern Munich. Yeah, I mean, Chelsea, imagine Chelsea won it. I mean, I can't see Chelsea winning it. You know, I think they'll do well, but I don't think they'll win it. I think I'm gonna stick with PSG, Man City. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with PSG and Man City, I'll say. So Zedge says weddings are all done, so hopefully I'll be more on streams. Yeah, no worries, bro, man. Well, who got married? What you got married, yeah? Let us know, man. Big up yourself anyway. Nihal Bamra says we will win Premier League next season. Glory, glory, Man United. We just need a clinical striker that can do link-up play and two world-class wingers like Doué and Cavra and Courtois as Madrid is friend. Hey, Nihal, man. Whatever you're smoking, man, stop. Because, you know, we need wingers like Doué and Cavra, which we're not getting. Keeper like Courtois, we're not getting. And we'll win the league next season. Yeah, whatever you're smoking, man, stop smoking that. Because you're doing yourself a disservice there, man. Because there's no way United win the league next season. But what we can hope for is the sale of Bruno Fernandes. You know, United making some good acquisitions as well. And I think definitely if that can happen, you know, I think we can look forward in the future to seeing United doing something serious. But this is only going to happen if Bruno goes, because I can't look at it now and think Bruno's going to stay. I think it's too far gone, you know, because if Bruno was going to stay, then pretty sure this noise would have been shut down early. But it's positive news that, you know, he's looking like he's going. And if he does go, United are going to have money to spend, as well as getting rid of some other players as well. And as I said, man, it's gonna be exciting because, you know, United for me need to show some serious intent in signings. You know, I think at the moment it's frustrating because only one player's come in Cunha, but I want to see more links to other players. And as I said, for those of you that I've already heard, I just don't understand why Carlos Baleba hasn't been mentioned. And maybe Baleba gets mentioned if when the Bruno money comes in. But he should be made the ideal target, you know, for sure. Sham says, good news, chat. Coverage of the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup will be shown. It's on the Zone. Oh, the Zone and Channel 5. Okay, Channel 5. Not too bad. All right. I didn't think that. Channel 5. I'll be watching that then. So Zain Kiani says, what's the best way of getting in contact with you, bro? Big up, Zain. What do you mean contact? In terms of what? What, doing a stream or? Let me know, man. If you want to DM me or put a comment in the stream afterwards, but let me know what you mean. Big up Exedra says the stream with Flawless was great. Love that one. Yeah, big up Exedra, man. It was a great stream with Flawless, man. And what's good about Flawless is that me and him have very similar opinions on Man United, you know, in terms of the players that he wants to go, you know, likes of Bruno, Garnacho, Hoyland, you know, Mount and Shaw. So we very much agreed on that. I think in terms of Sancho, I think he was more for Sancho going. I think not because he don't rate Sancho, but more because he doesn't see how Sancho comes back to the club in terms of where he fits in. And to be fair, I understand what he means, but I'm looking at it in a sense of if you could bring Sancho back and he wants to come back, you know, you've got a quality player there, and that could save you going for another left 10 and focus on getting a right 10 and a midfielder and a striker. So, I could see where he was coming from with that, but for me, I want Sancho back, and I'm hoping Chelsea activate the 5 million to send him back, because I think a player of his quality, and I think he still has what it takes, to show everyone that he is still one of the best talents in world football. Because there's no denying, when he was at Dortmund, he was arguably the best young player in the game. But obviously his stock has dropped somewhat. But I do believe that he can reach that again. And if Chelsea do sign him, you know, it'll be down to him to show why he should be first choice. Or who knows, they could sign him and sell him or whoever. But I'm just praying they just send him back if they can't agree on his wage. And then pre-season, he shows what he's got in pre-season, and there's some kind of reconciliation there. Because let's remember, Amrim hasn't had Sancho, and Sancho is ideal for this system. He's someone that can play, in the half spaces as a left 10 competing with Cunha, and he'd be an addition to the squad, man, for sure. So I want to see that happen still, but we have to wait and see, man. Big up to Mr. Mamat. Yeah, I'm all good, man. All good. Why do fans care how much a transfer fee is paid? It goes towards the owner's pockets. Not even a dime gets to the fans. Why do they care? Well, the reason they care, Nihal, is because the fans are the one that invest. The fans are the ones that invest in the club, and technically, it's our money, really. I mean, not mine, because I don't invest in the club, but fans that invest in the club is technically their money that should be spent on the players. So when you're saying they care so much, it's because technically it's their money because obviously if these guys ain't coming to the grounds, the club ain't making no money, man. So that's where it comes. That's what it comes down to. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day, So, Exedra, Florida streams via Sarcasm City TV is really good. So I've joined back-to-back lives twice now. Yeah, guys, if you get a chance, man, head over to Sarcasm City. Obviously, loads of you should know Flawless anyway, But yeah, give him some support, man. And as I said, man, he's doing some good content. I think he streams very late. That's the only problem. But I think for yourself, Exedra, it might actually work out better, I believe, But yeah, give him a subscribe, man, and follow, and yeah, go onto his channel, man. He's got some good content on there for sure. So Zedra says Man City to win the Prem next season. For me, based on transfers, I 100% agree. 100% agree. I think Man City, because guys, we have to remember as well, this could be Pep's last season. We'll have to wait and see, but they're gonna go on an absolute mazza this season, I think, in terms of transfers. Because they're linked to 3 players that United should have. It should be signing, and those 3 players, I think, makes them slight favourites for me. Even though if Liverpool do get Wirtz, Kirkes, and Frimpong, so yeah, watch out, man. It's gonna be a great season, I believe, between City and Liverpool. I think they'll be the main 2. I think Chelsea will want to have something to say about that, but for me, it depends on what Chelsea bring in, And Arsenal, yeah, they're gonna finish 5th for me. So Champions League next season, top 3 winner predictions are Madrid, PSG, and Barca. Yeah, listen, I mean, I couldn't agree with that. Again, a lot of it's going to be to do with transfers, because if I look at Madrid's team now, they've brought in what? Dean Howson, Trent, they're getting in Alvaro Fernandez, and they got Xabi Alonso as a new manager. So if I look at those 3 signings to go with what they've already got, I think, do those 3 players make them stronger in the league? It's hard to say, really, because Trent, if Danny Carvajal's fit, Trent doesn't automatically start right back for me. Dean Howson, if Eder Militao and Rudiger are fit, I don't know if Dean Howson comes in and starts straight away ahead of those 2. I know Militao's injury prone, but if Militao can prove his fitness, does Howson just come in and start straight away ahead of those two? I'm not too sure. And then you've got Alvaro Carreras coming in from Benfica. Does he start ahead of Ferland Mendy automatically? Again, I'm not too sure. So I think in terms of the squad, it makes their squad better. But are they three players that just come in and replace what they've already got automatically? I don't think they do. But Xabi Alonso is going to have his plans, obviously, for what he wants to do. Whether that's going to be enough for the Champions League, I'm not too sure. But I think PSG, you'd have to say yes. Again, Barcelona, who they going to bring in? Because they're going to have players that are going to be returning from injury, some of the younger players. But for me, Barca need to bring in a couple of players as well, and see what they do. But as I said, I think Man City have to be in there. And probably Liverpool or Chelsea, I think you say, from England, But again, as we know, a lot of it's based on the transfer window. So once the transfer window is done, then I think we have a better idea of who's going to do what for me, So fans care because most times the money goes back out for new signings. The more you get from a sale, the better. Yep. They shut in the transfer window for 6 days because of the FIFA Club World Cup. Yeah. So this transfer window is going to be short. So that's what I'm trying to say to you. You're going to see a lot of teams scrambling. I think the end of this week and definitely next week, I think you'll see a lot of a lot of movement in the transfer window for me. So Killer says, I definitely want English team winning it. Now, a chance of a team to have more cups than Real Madrid once no one catching up to the Champions League cups. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Man United are not in the Champions League, so I don't really care who wins it. I think for me, Barcelona's my team, but PSG for me definitely deserved it because they played the best football. So that's what counts for me. But as I said, man, I think at the end of the day, you'll deserve to win it if your team is playing the best football, and you're delivering. That's what it comes down to, So yeah, Sham, this is the thing, Sham. For some reason, I think Alonso's going to play three at the back, and if he plays three at the back, it's gonna be a surprise to a few people because, as I say, there's positions there that some players might struggle to get into the team, but it depends what Alonso wants to do. But I've got a feeling he might play three at the back, which is why I think he brought in Dean House. I think Dean Howson's been brought in. Because if you look at Dean Howson that's been brought in, you can play Dean Howson, Rudiger, left side of a three, and then you've got, the young Raul Asensio or Militao or Alaba. You've got options there that can play at centre back. And then if you're bringing in Alvaro Carreras, Trent's coming as well. They can play wing backs. But yeah, as I said, man, it'll be just to see what he does. Guys, come on, only 7 likes. Let's try and hit the like button. So JJ Ball from The Athletic made a decent video on what our transfers should be. Carlos Baleba was his first choice as well. I'm not sure who that is, JJ Ball. But if he's saying Baleba should be the first choice, again, he's seeing what I'm seeing. I think people are kind of and the thing is, I do understand, because if I look at Adam Wharton, he's someone that can progress the ball. He's good in the first phase of play, and he's someone that is needed in this Man United midfield. I agree, but I'm looking at Baleba, and the fact that I think Baleba should be bought is because he's left-footed for one, and he can do a bit of everything. He's tenacious in the tackle. For me, he has the balance to the midfield being left-footed. He's very composed on the ball. He's good in the first phase as well. He can play box to box. And again, he can even play as a left-sided centre-back if in emergency. So I think he's the ideal one for United to go for. The thing is, he's going to cost slightly less than Wharton, I believe. I think he costs slightly less than Wharton. But one thing's for sure is that for me, one thing sure for me, he should be made the main target. So if this JJ Ball is saying that, then as I said, for me he's correct, man, because Baleba's the next big midfielder for me to go to one of the big clubs if it's not Man United, because I can see him ending up at a, if you're looking at this league, I can see him ending up at a City, Liverpool, Chelsea, you know, maybe not this window, maybe next window, or if it's abroad, you know, a Barca, a Real Madrid, a Bayern Munich. I think he can be that level. You know, maybe not in this window because of how much he might cost, but if United can try and do a deal there, then why not? And he said if Baleba was too expensive, Elliot Anderson from Forest was a good option. See, now you lost me on the Elliot Anderson one. And Anderson, for me, like he has done good for Nottingham Forest, but when I'm talking about Baleba, you know, I don't want to hit Elliot Anderson because, and that's not saying that Anderson's not good, but Man United need to be identifying Baleba, Ederson, Adam Waltons, Angel Gomez on a free, not Elliot Anderson. You know, I remember Elliot Anderson was at Newcastle, but obviously doing a good job at Nottingham Forest now. But to be honest with you, I don't want him at United. So yeah, allow Elliot Anderson. Like, Baleba's the one, definitely. Killer says Barca are poor in Champions League. I see Real, PSG, or City for next Champions League final, and I see Liverpool getting Premier League title next season. Yeah, it's not a bad prediction. Big up to Nave Philo as well from Brazil. Yeah, big up, man. So, example with Man United, they've always had four in the back. Amrin plays three with two wing backs, and that's what he's doing with the team now. Hence why I think Alonso will also play what he knows. Yeah, I mean, there's an argument to say that did Alonso play three at the back because of the players they had, the players that 1 second. Just seeing some news on Bruno Fernandes. So they're saying that he still hasn't openly come out that he wants to leave the club. He wants to leave the club, man. Let's just get it right, man. He wants to leave the club because he hasn't come out since he hasn't come out saying that he doesn't. So, but yeah. So as I said, I think did Alonso play the three at the back because of what he had at the in Bayer Leverkusen with the kind of players he had? But I think that's just his go-to formation anyway. So, and again, Real Madrid have never played three at the back from what I can remember. But Alonso could change that, and I think in this Club World Cup, we're gonna see what his plans are really, because I think that'll be a good good tournament to judge what because they're gonna use that as their mini pre-season, so that would be a good way to judge what he's gonna do. So yeah. So Sham says, have Man United dropped that far down to go for Anderson? You know what, Sham? That's exactly what I was thinking. When Exedra was saying what this JJ guy said about Baleba, I was thinking, finally, someone gets it. And then he mentioned Anderson. Like, and the thing is, Anderson's not shit, but he's not someone that United should be looking at, in my opinion. Not when you've got the likes of Baleba, Ederson, Walton, players that United have been linked with, you know, and there should be other midfielders out there, you know, but this is what scouting does, you know. Is there any other players that they can have their eye on? But for sure, man, I think definitely Anderson shouldn't be someone that United are considering for me. If they get Anderson that poor, that they must be aiming for 10th next season. Listen, 10th right about now looks good. I have to be honest, because to think that United finished, what, 14th, I think, in the end? You know? Yeah, as I said, man, beggars can't be choosers, man. So I'll take 10th now, man. But if United do get the signings in, then I'll have a bit more of a better judgment on what I think this team can achieve. Because remember, it's only one game a week as well, so there should be no excuses there, really. Xavier says I've watched Edison a lot more, and honestly, I don't like him that much. To be honest with you, yeah, Edison for me, he is. I would go as far as saying he's basically, like the new Casemiro. I would liken him to. I think if he was to come in and like Casemiro was to go out, then it's a good signing. I think the fact that Ugarte is there, I look at that as wasted money. And Edison for me could have been the Ugarte replacement, but someone that's better than Ugarte. You know, but I think Edison's a good midfielder. But I've got my preference. My preference is Baleba. Baleba ticks all the boxes for me. I've been when I first saw Baleba play, I just said immediately, this is a guy that is gonna be the next Moises Caicedo, Yves Bissouma, Alexis McAllister that has left Brighton to go to a bigger club. I think he's the next one, 100%. So, and the thing with him, he's left-footed, which is a major incentive for them to go for. So but yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens. But I'm hoping it is him they go for. Yep, Zedra said him again. Everyone's saying Angelo Stiller. That's exactly what Flawless was saying as well. Again, I've not really watched too much of Stiller, but I think he's being linked to Real Madrid as well. But yeah, but I haven't seen too much of him personally. But if he's being linked, and obviously you guys think he's good, then yeah, maybe I've got to watch a bit more of him. But I've not seen too much of Stiller, to be honest with you. Oh, guys, I forgot as well. Man City are chasing Livramento as well. So, Killer, yeah, man. City are trying to raid Newcastle for Livramento, even though I don't think Livramento's going to go, because Newcastle are going to price him out of a move. But I can see why City would want him, because City, for me, need a proper right-back. Obviously, since Carl Walker's gone, and obviously João Cancelo as well, they've been playing Matthias Nunes there. Rico Lewis, I don't know if he's ready or not. So they're chasing Livramento. And to be fair, Livramento would be an absolute problem in this Man City team. But I don't see Newcastle sending him personally. He's a first choice right back for Newcastle now. You'd think ahead of Trippier. And England international as well. So yeah, I can't see them sending him, but he's a very good player for me, Livramento. But City are not messing around, man. They wanna they wanna pull out all the stops, man, and get some players in. So you can't blame them, man, because last season was an absolute joke. And as I said, man, they're not messing around this season for sure. So but guys, listen up. I'm gonna go and hit the gym now anyway. I got a busy afternoon, man. I got gym and then I got football later, 5-a-side. So yeah, man. But Fabregas and De Zerbi are among the names linked to Inter Milan. Big up North Korea. Big up North Korea in the building. Just one more comment before we leave. City already spent 180 million in January. Now they're buying more players. Yeah, listen, they're going to go on the Mazza, as I said. But guys, listen up. Big up yourselves for coming on each and every time. Big up to all the mods, for coming through, giving me your questions all the time as well. And guys, only 8 likes. Okay, let's at least hit 10 before we wrap up. There's 10 of you watching right now. So if you do enjoy the content, make sure you smash that like button and make sure you subscribe to my channel. North Korea says thoughts on Cunha. Yeah, listen, Cunha, great signing, but I'm just hoping it's the first of many. Because United got a lot of work to do. And let's hope, obviously my stream earlier today, could Cunha be the first signing of a new era? I'm hoping so. So let's see what happens. But my thoughts on him, yeah, good signing, but still a long way to go. So let's hope that gets done. And I wonder if Cunha will wear the number 10 shirt as well, taking it from Rashford if that happens. So that's something to think about. But yeah, big up to Exedra as well, each and every time. And guys, I'm going to be back tomorrow. So obviously I've scheduled one to come out at 2 o'clock tomorrow. Obviously my next gen 50, so the best 50 young players in world football. One come out today, Tyler Dibbling. I've got one coming out tomorrow as well. And I'm going to be live as well. So we're going to do a discussion on the upcoming Nations League. You know, you got some key matchups. You know, you got Germany versus Portugal on Wednesday. And then you've got Spain versus France on Thursday in the semi-finals. So, again, guys, some great football coming up. And we're going to get into it. We're going to look at the key matchups, the lineups of both teams, of all four teams as well. And who will be the likely winners. So yeah, man, we'll be getting into that tomorrow. But yeah, make sure you guys join me at that time. Check my schedule. And yeah, guys, as I said, big up every time for coming on. I'm going to catch you guys tomorrow. Take it easy.